Today was a roller coaster, my goodness. Before we get into today's video though, I did want to let you guys know that this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. Woo! I hope you guys have had a wonderful week. We are at Thursday already. We are at the end of this Johnny and Amber trial. And you guys, this has been a wild ride. Do you hear me? I mean, I am convinced, in my personal opinion, and by the way, this whole entire video is going to be me giving my very unprofessional, personal opinion on very public news. Please go and research everything for yourself, form your own opinions, and then do not show hate to anybody after you form your opinions. However, I am convinced that they're going to be making some sort of documentary or movie about this afterwards. I did see a clip that a few of you guys were sending me over on Instagram. There's this clip right here that shows Johnny's lawyers getting out of their vehicles after court, and they have a ton of like high quality cameras around them. Now, I don't know who those cameras belong to. They could be news stations. They could be filming behind the scenes like for a documentary. We have seen that done plenty of times before, and I would not be surprised if Johnny's side is filming this. And I really hope that they are, because I want to know what's going on behind the scenes every single day. And this has truly been the top court case I have ever watched. And I don't know if we'll ever see anything like this again in our lifetime. Okay, this is definitely different. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys everything that I found to be like most intriguing or most important, skipping all of what I consider to be the boring, the slow parts, the maybe not as important parts. I can't get all the important parts in one video, but I'm just going to give you guys what I think is the best, okay? So today in court, Johnny's side had their day 2 of rebuttal. Okay, we're almost to the end of this trial. Now, after today, Johnny's side still has 7 hours left, and Amber's side has 1 hour and 15 minutes, okay? And they have to finish doing their objections, their cross-examinations. They have to do their rebuttal, which, like, how many witnesses are they going to have, you know, to just only have 1 hour and 15 minutes. I mean, today, when they were cross-examining Johnny's witnesses in rebuttal, I mean, they were talking fast. They were trying to get everything they could in a short amount of time to save that little bit of time that they have left. And so when they are finished with their times, then it will go into deliberation by the jury. And then we're going to find out who wins this thing, if anybody wins this thing. Today in the trial, the first person that Johnny's side called for his rebuttal witness was Kate Moss.
You and Mr. Depp had a romantic relationship.
Yes.
What, if anything, happened when you were in Jamaica with Mr. Depp?
We were leaving the room, and Johnny left the room before I did, and there had been a rainstorm, and as I left the room, I slid down the stairs and I hurt my back, and I screamed because I didn't know what had happened to me and I was in pain, and he came running back to help me and carried me to my room and got me medical attention.
Johnny swings at her, and I just see my little sister with her back to the staircase, and Johnny swings at her, and I don't even wait for any other, I don't hesitate, I don't wait, I just in my head instantly think of Kate Moss and the stairs.
He never pushed me, kicked me, or threw me down any stairs.
Then Johnny would later testify, and we're going to get to his testimony because I just wanted to...
You'll be okay.
We're going to get there though. When Johnny testified later, he said that he talked to Amber, like, you know, when they were together, and he kind of told her the story about when they were on this trip and how she slipped and fell and hurt her back, and that he was shocked to hear her twist it and use it against him like he pushed her down the stairs. The next person that was called to testify.
I'm Dr. Shannon Curry. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist, and I'm here today to rebut the testimony that was provided by Dr. Hughes.
Our favorite forensic psychologist, and I love her. I tell you, she is all that in a bag of chips, okay? She is, you can't break her. She gets up there, she knows her mess. She ain't reading off of no notes. She don't need nobody reminding her. She's got it going on. She got up there to testify. She was there to rebut Dr. Hughes. Now, if you guys don't remember Dr. Hughes, she's the one who has also worked with Amber's team before, has testified for Amber's team before in court, and also gets paid big bucks to do so. And again, I don't care about her making the money. Great, go off, make your money. It's just very interesting that they have these certain type of expert witnesses that continue to testify for like Amber's legal team in different cases, and they always just happen to agree with their witness in order to help their case. Seems a little sus, but that's just me. Anyways, to make a long story short, Dr. Curry got up there and said,
Elevation on that validity scale is consistent with PTSD, and that's simply not true. That scale was designed and has been tested and shown to be there to show when somebody is endorsing extremely unusual items that are not consistent with PTSD. When you're looking at scores as high as Ms. Heard's, and then you're not seeing indications of PTSD in the more subtle tests, where she doesn't know what she's endorsing, it's good evidence that her over-endorsement on that one test is because of the reason the scale was made, to detect exaggeration and feigning of symptoms.
When Amber's side tried to cross-examine her, it did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. She hit a home run like she did the first time. All right, moving on. Next was Johnny. And y'all, let me tell y'all something. If y'all watch this, y'all know what I'm talking about. When Johnny first testified, it was so good, y'all. I almost cried a few times. It was emotional. Johnny Depp comes off as very genuine. I mean, like he does talk very slowly, okay? Like it's like drawn out. But there's one thing about Johnny's, he's very consistent. Like he was like that the first time. You see him doing that in his interviews from years ago. When he's asked a question, he kind of looks away, he scratches his head, he takes time, he thinks about his answer. He's the same way now, just much, much, much older. And it was great. While Johnny was testifying, Amber had this smirk on her face that just made me want to scream, okay? It's this smirk right here. And it's like how quickly she goes from battered, woman crying, jumping at the sound of these recordings, even though she was giggling in them as well. It's just so weird, you guys, the way that she acts. And now it's this smirk of, I don't know, what would y'all call this smirk? Give it a name, because it just irritated me. It's like, I wonder if the jury's seeing how different she is now. And I wonder if Amber's going to testify again in rebuttal. I hope she is. I don't think that they would do that. Johnny Depp's team will probably tear Amber up during cross and rebuttal, but I hope that they do. So anyway, so then they talked about Aquaman and Johnny basically talking about how he got her the job. They talked about the Australia finger incident. Johnny Depp went over the photos, talking about the blood, saying that was drips from his finger, which is what makes the most sense. When you see those drops of blood everywhere in these photos, it obviously makes sense that it came from his finger, especially how wide open. They went over these photos right here where Johnny Depp had what looks to be a black eye. And this is when Amber and Johnny were on their honeymoon, and Johnny said that she punched him. Now listen, This honeymoon that they went on sounded amazing. Oh my gosh. Sounded like a dream honeymoon, but it also sounded like, according to Johnny Depp, it started off with a black eye from her. Then he talked about Whitney. Now, if you guys remember when Whitney testified, we were all looking at how Johnny Depp was looking at Whitney. This is where he talked about it. Listen to what he said.
Because I always, it seemed, Whitney, Amber's sister, Whitney, seemed to always get the sort of dirty end of the stick, and I felt bad for that, because it wasn't new. It had been there for life, and that was seemed pretty obvious. So I took to Whitney very, very quickly, very easily. She was a very sweet kid. She was wonderful.
What do you mean that Whitney got the dirty end of the stick?
It was a kind of a strange combination of loving sister, trusted sister and friend, and then lackey, and then, you know, either the punching bag or the dartboard, or the recipient of some rather demeaning and ugly words, or she would have wine thrown in her face.
All right, now for Cross. Honey, when I tell y'all, Amber's side tore Johnny up on Cross, in my opinion, and Johnny did not do himself no favors because of his snarky comments and his attitude.
And evidence in the English.
Your Honor, he's talking about his experience testifying.
Overruled.
You'll be okay.
Now, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like he was like, oh, he has an attitude, but he had to keep like saying these little comments that made me...
Changed everything.
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh, it didn't change everything?
This lawsuit.
Right.
Mr. Short, if you could wait till the objection, please.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Relevance.
Tourette's.
Your Honor.
Like, Johnny, stop. Like, why? And some people will say, oh, he's just so frustrated. He's overwhelmed. He's been going through this for many years. And I believe that. I can understand, because I tried to put myself in his shoes and go, why is he doing this? Why is he letting these little, and it wasn't a lot. I mean, it's just, but it was still, it stood out to me. But when cross-examination came, they popped up this photo right here, and they asked Johnny if that photo had been edited. He said, nope, absolutely not. You know, he didn't edit it. And then Amber's attorney showed this photo right here, and this photo was allegedly on the website of the train that they were on, or on the Facebook page. And so he's saying that it was edited. Now, it looked like Johnny got caught with his pants down. I don't think for a second that Johnny edited this photo, okay? I don't know what happened. I don't know if a fan edited it. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they edited this photo, and that's what Johnny was trying to say. Johnny was trying to say they edited this photo, but I don't really think he knows. I don't see Johnny Depp as a person sitting around editing photos, and I truly don't believe in my heart that he needed to edit any photos, because it's very obvious, in my opinion, that Amber did hit him. I mean, we see videos of her hitting him just playing around, and she looks aggressive even when she's playing. Amber's attorney brings up some text messages that Johnny had sent somebody a long time ago that were very, I would consider, inappropriate. Okay, everybody to each his own. The way that you speak or whatever. I mean, I definitely wouldn't want somebody pulling up my text messages from 20 years ago, right? Like, they're probably extremely crude. No, however, watch this clip right here.
Also claimed that you've said before that if you want to be with a woman, that she is rightfully yours, haven't you?
Could you repeat that?
And you've also said that with
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours.
That's ludicrous.
You've also said that with respect to women that you want to be with, you've remarked, I need I want, I take, haven't you?
Equally as ludicrous, no.
Can you pull up DX883, please?
You can pull it what you like. I've never said those words. There's not enough hubris in me to say anything like that.
883?
883, Your Honor.
It's not, is it empty?
It is not texted Mr. Deuter's right exactly. Molly's pussy is rightfully mine. Should I not just bust in and remove its hinges tonight? Did I read that right?
You read it right.
And the one beneath that, you say, I want to change her understanding of what it is like to be thrashed about like a pleading mackerel. And then in all caps, you write, I need, I want, I take. Did I read that right?
You read it right, but I did not write that.
Okay.
Perhaps someone else.
You wrote
had
every
my
other
phone.
text that you produced that came from you in this litigation, didn't you?
Not necessarily. Sometimes you give your phone to people and they
Now,
text
when you
from
got
it.
off that plane
Excuse me?
From Boston,
Sorry?
when you got off the plane from Boston, you knew Miss Heard was angry with you.
And so it didn't look good. And realistically, when they brought up the text messages, I wish Johnny would have just said that, you know, I was just talking with my boy, or, you know, this is what I meant by that. Or, you know, it was, because to me, when I heard those text messages, it sounded like a man bragging to his boys about what he's going to do in the bedroom, which is not abnormal, okay? But the fact that Johnny denied ever even sending those text messages made it seem like he was lying. However, I don't actually think he was lying. I think he probably didn't remember. I think that Johnny Depp did a lot of substances, and who can remember every single text message you send, especially if you're drunk texting, right? You send text messages, you wake up the next morning, you grab your phone to see what you said. But it did make him look like he could be just lying. Now, the next person, who was my favorite witness of the day, other than Johnny when he was doing his rebuttal, not during cross, because during cross it was like, phew. The next person was the TMZ witness. Now, when I tell y'all,
Morgan Cliff Tremaine.
And what do you do for a living?
I produce esports events and design video games.
And in 2016, what did you do for a living?
I worked as the field assignment manager at TMZ.
What is TMZ?
TMZ is an entertainment news website and television show.
they tried to get him not to be able to go into court. Oh, yes, they did. They was fighting in that courthouse, trying to get him not to be able to testify. TMZ even sent an attorney or a representative to talk to the judge to say, listen, we can't do this. We cannot let people that were ex-employees or employees come and reveal our sources because there's a privilege with the client and and there's the First Amendment right. And the judge was like, listen, this is a defamation lawsuit case, okay? She said it in different words, obviously. She was like, this is relevant. She was like, now I know that an NDA between a client and an employer is very important and should be upheld. However, that ain't this case. Y'all gonna have to handle that another day because today this is defamation and this is relevant and should be allowed in. So she allowed it in, and oh my gosh. Then the TMZ lawyer gets up there and asks her, okay, well, can I object since I'm a lawyer? And she's like, no, you're not a lawyer on this case here. Like, you can't, just because you're a lawyer, you can't just come in and start objecting. You have nothing to do with this case. She didn't say it like that, but that's what she was thinking, probably, allegedly. Anyways, so when he got up there, no, he did not reveal any names. However, he told enough to know for sure, in my opinion, that Amber had something to do with it, which we know. The video that she took of Johnny Depp was literally just her filming Johnny Depp, okay? And then TMZ owns the rights to that. He talked about how they got that video. Matter of fact, he talked about way more stuff than I was expecting, but he talked about specifically that video and how it came in through their anonymous link that you can just drop videos in. And then once it came in, they watched it. He said when they watched it, they didn't see the beginning of the video and the end. Okay, you guys remember the beginning is when she was setting up the camera, and at the end was when she was kind of snickering, giggling, and he brought that up.
Can you describe to the jury how you received the video on August 12, 2016?
Yes, the video was sent in through our email tip line. which is an email distribution that goes to all the producers and to myself as the field assignment manager, because it often included celebrity locations. It came in as I recall,
objection. And you received this video in your inbox, correct?
I did.
What did you do once you received that video?
We downloaded it. We alerted the web editor who was sitting next to me at the time. We downloaded it, and then were instructed by the news producer to do what we call slap bumpers and a bug on it, which is putting the dun 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 at the beginning end, and then putting a translucent watermark over it, which indicates copyright ownership.
Did you do anything else related to Amber Heard on August 12, 2016?
Yes, I received a tip that Amber Heard would be arriving at LAX, and so I dispatched camera people to film that exit, or her arrival to LAX rather. The only way to obtain copyright over media would be if we shot it ourselves, if it was sent to the tip line, source verified that it was from the original copyright owner, and then either purchased from that person or given to us. And then the third option would be if it was directly given to us by the copyright holder, like a direct source. There was a bit at the beginning that was played here in which Ms. Heard is seemingly sort of setting up the camera and getting into position. And then there's a bit at the end where she's seemingly snickering and looks at the camera. That part was not present in what we received.
I'm so glad he did, brought it up again so the jury can remember, if they didn't see before, that she was kind of snickering. But now she's in the court jerking when she hears the video, but you were laughing when you were filming it. Anyways, talked about Amber went down to the courthouse to file for the TRO. They got a tip that she was going to be there and said that they can film her when she's walking out, which is what a coinky dink, okay? Now, Amber's story was that it's all public record, and we tried to keep it under the radar, and we're hoping that they wouldn't show up, but oh my gosh, it's public record. I guess they're checking this, and then they should. No, he said, no, we don't.
I believe it was May 27th, 2016.
And what was your role in that assignment?
For that, Ms. Heard was filing a restraining order at a courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. So I dispatched camera people to that location.
Under what circumstances would you normally send paparazzi to a courthouse?
Only if we had been informed prior. It's not by any means a celebrity hotspot. We would only ever send people there if we had been tipped off that something was occurring and there was somebody present there.
And what footage was TMZ trying to capture at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
We were trying to capture Amber leaving the courthouse and an alleged bruise on the right side of her face.
What was your team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the Los Angeles courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Their objective was to capture her leaving the courthouse, and then she was going to sort of stop and turn towards the camera to display the bruise on the right side of her face, the alleged bruise.
Did your team of videographers get the shot of Amber Heard?
We did.
When you left the courthouse, what did you experience?
I walked into the courthouse. It was quiet. First thing in the morning. No one knew about my divorce, so I thought it was going to stay that way, and I walked out to a sea of paparazzi and cameras, photographers. To that point, at that point in my life, had never seen so many photographers, and they just surrounded me as I walked out of that courthouse and screamed at me, screamed horrible things at me.
Our objective was to capture her leaving the courthouse, and then she was going to sort of stop and turn towards the camera to display the bruise on the right side of her face, the alleged bruise.
At that point in my life, had never seen so many photographers, and they just surrounded me as I walked out of that courthouse and screamed at me, screamed horrible things at me.
Amber. Amber, how are you feeling?
Amber, are you going to go to the doctor? Are you okay? Are you going to go to the hospital, Amber?
And screamed at me, screamed horrible things at me.
Amber, how are you feeling?
Amber, are you going to go to the doctor? Are you okay? Are you going to go to the hospital, Amber?
But TMZ knew every step that you took. I mean, it's so obvious that she set this up, in my opinion. When it was cross-examination and Amber's attorneys got up there to question him, it was so weak. Okay, it was so weak. They tried to accuse him of doing this for his 15 minutes of fame.
You know this case is being televised, right?
I am aware that there are cameras.
And so this gets you your 15 minutes of fame, doesn't
Objection, Your Honor, argumentative.
it? I can ask that question.
Ruled.
So I stand to gain nothing from this. I'm actually putting myself kind of in the target of TMZ, a very litigious organization, and I'm not seeking any 15 minutes here. Though you're welcome to speculate. I could say the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
A little argumentative, don't you think?
Oh, hardly. I find that to be purely logical.
Then they called up Brian in, who is a digital forensics metadata expert. Now, he analyzed Amber's photos, you know, the ones of the bruises and all of that. And long story short, this man is extremely educated and well established. I mean, he has worked on crime cases all over the place. He's been on just about every major network. I mean, he's been doing this for many years. Very professional, okay? Kept it all the way together. He basically testified that in his opinion, every one of Amber's photos were messed with in one way or another, okay? Every one of them had been photoshopped or changed or the file, every one of them. Now, Amber's team tried to poke holes in his theory, but it made absolutely no sense. He stood his ground very professionally, and it's just like, wow, this would have been a completely home run day for Johnny Depp had he not got up there and made little snarky comments, because honestly, that's the only part of the day that I remember as like going, no, why did you do that? Other than that, everybody else was perfect. So I wonder who, now Johnny Depp's got one more witness that's going to testify again on Thursday morning, but I wonder who's Amber's side is going to call. What do y'all think? Okay, so right now, in my opinion, Johnny is still winning this thing, like as far as like who's winning. But however, I still think that if they walk away with nothing, both of them with no winnings, it would be completely even for me, because not that it has anything to do with me. I'm just giving you guys my opinion. I know a lot of y'all really feel like Johnny should get money, and I definitely understand that, and I would not be mad, okay? If he won the money, I would not be mad about that by no means, but it's just so messy, and he wasn't an angel. And let me tell you something, some of these text messages that he sent, they are so ugly. If he talks like that in real life, like I just couldn't do it. You know, I see this like very kind, gentle spirit. Oh, and he also talked about donations, because Amber and her team tried to get up there and say how he doesn't do any donations, and he talked about how he donates anonymously. And I definitely can believe that. But anyways, you see this kind soul, but then you read these nasty, nasty messages. However, I will say this, the nasty messages that he sends, other than him and Amber arguing, right, always seems to be to like a male, like a security guard or something like that. And I wouldn't want to know how my husband talks when he's just with his boys, if they're out, you know, having beers or whatever, you know, like, or used to, let's just say that, maybe not these days, but you know, like 20 years ago, before I was in the picture, I can only imagine how him and his boys talk. Right? Imagine if you imagine what people talk about in private with their homies or with their girlfriends. I mean, I know girls talk real crazy, because I see y'all in the comment section of some of these gray sweatpants Instagram accounts. I see y'all down there. So, you know, you just don't know. But it still doesn't matter. Even though he's got a nasty mouth, in my opinion, he talks really ugly sometimes. And it's still poetic when he talks ugly. So it's like, I don't understand it. it still does not prove that he did all of these things to Amber. And I just don't believe, I'm sorry, you guys, I do not believe that he SA'd her at all. I don't. Is there if there was maybe a reaction, if she's punching him and all this stuff, maybe if there's ever just a reaction where he snapped and maybe just, that could be, in my opinion. But the SA stories she's given, what do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Other than that, we got one more day of court. You guys, I'm tired. I'm tired. I need a break. These people stressing me. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank y'all so much for being here, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.